inZOI is this brand new life simulator game that has tons of customization options for both your character and also your place. The game allows you to purchase all sorts of stuff, make money, get a job, and I'd say the closest thing you can compare it to is a game like The Sims, if The Sims had amazing graphics and way more options in the base game. But if I'm being honest, the character creator alone is enough justification for me to buy this game. Plus it comes with options like face tracking and motion tracking, so you can really make those characters do whatever you want on top of capturing them in whatever environment you create. All of that to say that for a content creator, there's so much potential in this game, but that's not what we're here for today. Actually, today I would like to talk about the UI. I absolutely love just how clean the UI is in this game, and I want to take this as an inspiration to create maybe some overlays for my Twitch channel. Now obviously, step number one is going to be observing. If we look closely, we see there's a heavy use of icons, some white transparent backgrounds, we have a light blue as a selection color, and if we look carefully, we will see that the background for certain tabs is basically a glossy rounded rectangle. We can observe that also at the top, but there's also a little bit of highlight going on here. That glossiness needs to be interactive. Now, if you follow me on Twitch, you'll know that conveniently, this is my current setup. I already have the whole glossy thing, but instead of having a white transparent background, I have a black one. But this time I want to do something a little different. First, we will need a list of everything we would like to show on screen at all time. But first things first, let's figure out how to make a glossy background in OBS Studio. All right, so to keep it simple, we need to create a shape. I'm going to go in my sources. I'm going to go color source. I'm going to call this one label shape because I'm going to be making the label bar. We're going to select the color, make sure it's white, keep it that way, and then bring up the filters. If I mentioned this is not a beginner tutorial, at this point, if you like, why are you trying to do advanced stuff in OBS Studio if you don't know the basics? You better learn the basics. I don't know why I sounded like Cat William there. I went a little too fast. Okay, open up your filters, add a new filter, and you're going to go to advanced mask. An advanced mask is an OBS plugin. You can find it on, typing OBS advanced mask on Google, download, install, restart OBS, and you should have it. All right, once we added the advanced mask, it's gonna look like that. And we're basically gonna place it. So our whole canvas is gonna be 1080p, as you can see by the red borders here, but we're gonna place the shape within it. And you do that by just messing around with the geometry. I actually want this to be kind of large. I just want two options, to be fair. Height, something like that, nothing too overwhelming. You can also hover over the values and then scroll with your mouse to be more precise. And then we're gonna go to corner radius, and we're gonna make sure it's completely rounded. If you go beyond it, it's gonna I think that's pretty good. Actually, this might be too big. Yeah, I think like that would be cool. And make sure you place it right. Okay, so basically this is gonna be the alpha mask for our blurred layer. Then we're gonna use another plugin called Clone Source to clone our camera. You click on the plus here, you're gonna find Source Clone. I'm gonna call this one Label Cam Blur. It's gonna ask you, hey, what type of clone you wanna do? We wanna do source. And then now you wanna find your camera. In my case, I have it in a group. I actually want to duplicate the whole group. It's cam group, and click OK. All right, so now we basically just have a duplicate of the camera on top. I'm gonna add a filter to it just to show like the difference between my normal camera and this one. And I'm just gonna put like a, I don't know, color correction. All right, that way you know which one is which, okay? So you just skip the color correction part. And for the blur, I recommend Composite Blur as a plugin so it doesn't mess up your computer. Let's go ahead and add that, Composite Blur. And by default, I have it on 10, and 10 is actually pretty fine, maybe 12. I'm actually seeing something that I never paid attention to before. Effect mask. I can already mask it here. Source. I didn't know that. Oh my God, finite, you devil, you did it again. Okay, so now all I have to do is find that label shape. No way, that works. And wait, so you could add it directly to your camera if you wanted to. Oh, wow. That's pretty awesome. But we're still not gonna use that. So we're not gonna put effect mask. We're gonna put that to none. We're gonna keep it blurred. And then we're gonna add a mask, the advanced mask filter, because I actually wanted to get rid of the rest, but that's pretty important. Now let's go and add advanced mask. Mask type is going to be source, and then that source will be label shape, okay? Now we have it, but we don't see it. And that's the reason why I want to do it the way I'm doing it right now. Is because if I want to go back to my color correction, for example, reset everything, and I just want to give it a little bit of brightness, just like that, that works. So I have my background. I don't need to put like a shape and put it transparent or blah, blah, blah. I can just make that part of the image a little bit brighter and we're good. Now I might bump it up a little bit just for the sake of the video, so it's very visible. And of course, doing this all in OBS Studio means that you can go back and play around with the values even more, but now it's even more blurry. Okay, now for the difficult part, the chat. And I want to use kind of a different technique for the chat. I'm going to go to Stream Elements and create a new overlay. You can do this with Streamlabs if that's what you use. And we're basically going to create a new chat widget. And we want to customize the chat to basically have the same design. So that rounded rectangle, but we're going to use two of them. One for the normal chat and the text, and also one just for the background. So you want to go ahead and add a new widget, go to Stream Tools and add your stream's chat. Under theme, you want to pick custom. You want to type the name of your overlay. I'm calling it inZOI chat. I'm going to save. And then up here, I'm going to click on that little link. And back in OBS Studio, I can add it as a browser source. I'm going to paste the link and we're going to test it. And we can see it works. It looks awful, but it works. Okay, so now we're going to double click on that. And we're going to use the custom CSS to make some modifications. I'm going to delete the default blah blah that's in there. And if you want to figure out like the basic CSS setup for those widgets, paste that link in your browser, press F12. And then click Inspect Tool and it will tell you. For example, if I would like to know what the div name is for the username, it tells me span.username. So if I go in OBS and I type .username, I can change the color, I can change everything, right? Right now, we want something that encapsulates everything. And we can see it's called chatline, div chatline. So from there, you can type dot or period chat dash line space squiggly open, background, column, RGBA, that's RGB and alpha, open parentheses, 255, because that's how far it goes, comma, 255, comma, 255, so that's RGB, comma, now transparency, we want 0.5. We'll play around with that one. Close parentheses and semicolon. Go back in line. And now we're going to do border radius column. And let's go 16 pixels, semicolon. Okay. I'm probably going to need some padding. So I'm going to type padding column, 5 pixels, semicolon. I'm going to set my max dash width column 80%, semicolon to close. And finally, color. And I believe that's for the text, white, semicolon, close the squiggly line. Hopefully that works. Let's click OK. Alrighty, is that white? It was like gray. Interesting. I'm just gonna play with the size now. 600 and the width was 400. Let's set it 500. 500 by 600. Click save and adjust accordingly. 500 by 600 here in OBS 2, and we should be good. All right, not bad, not bad. I actually want the transparency to be less visibility. Let me try 0.1. It's so weird because it doesn't look white. There's no way that's white. What we're gonna do here, believe it or not, is have a second chat where only that rounded rectangle is visible. So we're basically creating a second mask like that. In order to do that, we have to re-add it as a browser source. Hopefully that works. In's chat alpha. I don't think I ever tried that before, actually. What happens if you put two of the same browser source? Was it 500 by 600? Come on, please work. Please work. Oh, why is it weird? Oh, the formatting. I'm so dumb. It works, okay? Both appear, except one doesn't have formatting. That's why it's looking weird like that. You definitely want to place them on top of each other. I'm going to go ahead and copy the custom CSS from the first one. Go back to this one, paste it, and then we're going to modify it a little bit. Very weird that it didn't work at first, but okay. Editor get level here. I actually went through the trouble of making sure that the text was invisible and the username was invisible in CSS, which is absolutely unnecessary. All you need is for that transparency thing, you only set it to 1. That's the only difference between the two texts. Since we're going to be using it as an alpha mask, it just needs to be opaque. It just needs to not be transparent. That's it. Wait, what am I doing? Actually, I didn't need all of that to be invisible. It's just an alpha mask. So as long as there's no transparency, it doesn't matter. What am I doing, man? I'm so dumb. Okay, cool. We're just gonna use this as an alpha mask. We're gonna rename it properly because right now it says alpha instead of alpha. I'm gonna place it behind the real chat. In fact, something I can do is, let me turn off the label here. Something I could do is basically put that label shape that I created, and then put the chat alpha and put them in a group and use the group as a mask. And basically everything I'm gonna put in that group is going to become part of the alpha. Does that make sense? Basically, I'm gonna have shapes everywhere, but it's one group so that I can only add one single advanced mask filter to be like, hey, whatever is in that group, that is where I want blur on the screen, right? So let's do that. in's chat alpha plus label shape. Let's select them, group selected items, and I'm gonna call it in's alpha group. All right, hopefully when they're turned off, I can still use them. I'm gonna go back to my label cam blur, advanced mask, and instead of label shape, we're gonna use in's alpha group. But it works. As you can see, I have a little blurry thingy thing, but now I need to refresh both of my chats. Okay, if I type test, oh hi, editor get level again. So saving you 10 minutes, you kind of get the point, right? One chat that's transparent, another one that's not. The one that's not transparent, you use it as an alpha mask in your alpha mask group, and that's it. You will have that glossy effect behind your chat. That's it. All right, now that our alpha mask is inside of a group, it should be easy for me to duplicate this and bring it down in order to have a goal widget. So I'm gonna go back all the way down to my group. I'm gonna copy, boom, and then paste, duplicate. It puts it all the way up. I'm gonna drag it back into the group. I'm gonna rename it, then go to the filters where the advanced mask is, and then place it down. Just like that. Isn't that cool? So right now I have this goal. I will need to place my blur appropriately on top of the camera. So now that goal should be visible. And I also have some text to go with it. I don't know if I'm gonna copy that. And I'll definitely play with the CSS for this so that it can match a little bit better. All right, let me be real with you. I've been messing with CSS the whole time. I decided to go purely white for the names, and the way I did that was just setting the text color for the username div to white. Let me see if I can show you. Right there, username, color, white. I also set it to important, so exclamation mark important before semicolon. It forces it basically to go white. And I also set it to bold, font weight, bold. For the tip goal, this one is specific. It's a thrown goal, so you're most likely not gonna have the same. But I basically changed the CSS around a little bit. I also added a little bit of transparency. You can't really see it. Just a tiny bit of transparency. And I tried to get that light blue over there that we saw in the game, but I was struggling a little bit. For the labels bar, I just need 2 icons and then the name of the people, which I can just bring in through Stream Elements. So we're gonna add a new source, go image. Ooh, I think I even have a GIF of the chair. There it is. All right, to that, we're gonna add filter, color correction. We're gonna try to make it as white as we can. Go. That was easy. Just bump up the brightness and we'll just place it just like that. Click away and there it is. That looks pretty cool actually. And of course that bar still has that transparency. I bumped up the blur a little bit just to make sure it was nice. I also lowered the brightness that it had. Okay, I also said top tipper. Let's go find an image for that. You know, I make overlays and stuff, so I probably have some crowns or things like that. There you go. I got a crown here. Immediately gonna go to filters, color correction, and brightness. And we're gonna place it somewhere around here. All right, so in Stream Element, we'll make yet another new overlay. We'll add a widget. We'll go to labels. We'll go to bits, top cheerer. In the options here, you have the time period. Right now it's session, and I'm gonna put all time. And it's my boy C Gamer. Look at that. Under text here, I'm actually gonna delete the all time because I don't want that part. All right, let's add another one. Labels, tips, top tipper, time period of all time. Save the overlay, bring it into OBS as a browser source. No idea what the size is going to be. There we go. Definitely not bad. We're gonna get rid of the shadow, text shadow. Gonna center it a bit more, and I might reduce the frame around it. I think that looks pretty good. Okay, so this is how far my chat goes. I am wondering if I want to move it up a little bit. I have to select both, so that alpha and the actual chat. Okay, pretty cool. And what I did for my words on stream, first of all, you can get the code to get it to appear like that, is I just made it white. I added a filter, color correction filter here, made it black and white, bumped up the contrast quite a bit, lowered the brightness, basically made it really black and white. And then I right clicked, went to blending mode, and then set it to screen. I could also set it to add, but it might be a little too bright. See? Not really visible. That's why I set it to screen. And of course, I might be changing my lighting to match the vibes a little bit better. So let's do that. All right, we'll get the Twitter video. Hi, my name is Gal Level. I've been playing some inZOI and I really like the UI, so I decided to make some overlays kind of inspired by it. As you can see here, I have my chat and I have that Little transparent background for each message. Up top, I have my top cheerer and my top tipper, also with that little transparent thing. And at the bottom, I have my goal right now, raising money for Daylo's CNC machine. And on the right here, I have words on stream that my chat can play, totally interactive. And yeah, also changed my lighting a little bit, just that pretty cool neutral color, very bright, very stylish. Let me know what you think. I can definitely spend way more time working on the chat to make it look perfect and a little more futuristic and, you know, less default stream elements custom chat. But honestly, for me, that's absolutely enough CSS for the day. So that's that.